The Tuskegee Airmen were the first Black military pilots in the U.S. Armed Forces. But did you know that one of these famed airmen was Dominican? His name is Esteban Hotesse, and he was among a group of soldiers who protested racial segregation in the military. Esteban Hotesse was born on February 2, 1919, in Moca, Dominican Republic. The Dominican native immigrated to the U.S. when he was 4 years old. He and his family entered the country through Ellis Island and made a life in New York City. Hotesse enlisted in the military during the middle of World War II. The 23-year-old joined a group of Black military pilots in 1942 known as the Tuskegee Airmen. His team never entered combat abroad, but they had their own battles to fight at home. In a time where dangerous and racist Jim Crow laws segregated the country, Hotesse and the other soldiers took a brave stand. When Hotesse was 26, he and 100 other soldiers protested against racial segregation in the military. The group of pilots entered a military base clubhouse for white soldiers at a U.S. Army base in Indiana after being ordered not to. And then they were arrested for actively resisting segregation. This brave move became known as the Freeman Fields Mutiny. Hotesse died later that year in an accidental plane crash during flight training, but his help in the fight against racial segregation contributed to the eventual desegregation of the armed forces in 1948. Years later, in 2015, the City University of New York's Dominican Studies Institute discovered that Hotesse was the only Dominican-born member of the Tuskegee Airmen. Before that, the story of Esteban Hotesse was largely unknown. But this Tuskegee Airman made American history, and he was Afro-Latino. Hi, I'm Dascha Polanco. I am an actress, and I am from the Dominican Republic, immigrant to the United States. And it is very important for us to get familiar with our history and to embrace other stories than what we usually are fed. We need to be aware of our history, we need to embrace, and we need to highlight stories of heroes that created impact and changes, such as the example of Esteban Hotesse. Es importante que como comunidad sentimos orgullo de no solo lo que creamos que somos, sino también de gente que no hemos reconocido, no nos hemos educado. Love to all and be proud.